Aloha, and welcome to week 3 of CM400C. In this lecture, I will talk about the mobile design process and ways to conduct app research. I've added a few things from the interactive design book into the mobile design process discussed in the Android Design Patterns book. Let's get started. The first step in the mobile design process includes scope, concept, and planning. You and your team should work on understanding these 3 areas of the mobile design process before committing anything to the visual design of your app. Remember, the mobile design process should be focused on the user. Concept encompasses all the details regarding where your mobile app will be used. You need to understand where your customers are. Is this mobile app useful in a certain geographic region? Does it require people to be indoors, outdoors, or at home? Determine if your potential customers are using iOS or Android devices. It would also be helpful to know if they are also accessing the website that accompanies the mobile app when they are home. Determining when users interact or use your app will also help you create a user-centered design which allows them to accomplish the task quickly using your app. For example, do a quick search for restaurants nearby, or something that may require the user to spend more time on your app as needed when editing photos. It helps to create a phrase to describe the context of your app. For example, book a hotel on the way to your destination. This phrase implies that the app is used to make last-minute plans. Persona helps you determine your target customer. Remember that you are essentially solving a problem, and by understanding the pains of your customer, only then can you start to solve their problems. Remember that your app design seeks to create a gain or win for your customer when they are using your mobile product. If it seems difficult to come up with one target customer, simply create a persona sketch, like elderly person that is experiencing memory loss. With the persona sketches, you create a list of challenges and struggles they may have. Lastly, with your target customer or customers in mind, you want to determine if these are indeed real challenges and struggles. Secondly, you want to determine how these problems or struggles, or what I will refer to as pains, are currently being met for your target customer. Remember, nothing is set in stone in the design process. Be sure to check the previous goals and assumptions to keep you on track. Without a concept, it will be hard to build your app vision. In other words, without being able to describe your concept in simple terms, it will be difficult to create a vision by which you will use to create your design. Vision takes context and starts understanding the length of the interaction. For example, if the interaction is short and frequent, then the design should translate into something that is very simple and intuitive. If the interaction requires more time, you want to be able to determine how long that interaction will be. For example, a photo editing app may require the user to focus on a task for a few minutes. In those few minutes, you want to present the necessary options to the user in a sensible sequence so they can accomplish the task and perhaps get back to site. How often customers engage will most likely be determined by content changes and or updates made within the app. If we think about users' engagement with social media apps, engagement takes place in many different places: home, school, work, even on travel. Facebook engages its users often and for short or long periods of time. Facebook understands that the most important part of their app is the newsfeed, and therefore it's front and center whenever the user opens it up. Although most apps are simple, user-centered, and intuitive, it's not uncommon to open an app for the first time and see a tutorial or onboarding screens that explain the app to its customer. The onboarding process can help users understand in which context they should use the app, or how to make an in-app purchase. Using a hiking app for the first time may require users to research the hike on the internet prior to moving their confidence to the app for specific guidance. As with context, you also want to Encapsulate your vision into a single phrase. No need to hike at your own risk. This vision phrase indicates that this hiking app takes the anxiety out of backcountry hiking. As a designer on your project, your work plan is all laid out in the budget. In order to create your budget, you need to know your timeline. How much time you personally can spend on the project on a weekly basis. How much time it takes you to create a design for an icon, button. And then you have to translate time and money and determine your deliverables. In this class, I will teach you how to create a budget and work plan. In this step, you dive deeper into mobile design process by understanding your competitors and how they currently meet their users' needs. You build scenarios around your innovative vision to further enhance your ideas. So who's your competition? What are you competing for? Time, money, customer loyalty, entertainment? And you want to be able to generate a list of different options users currently have based on what apps are similar to your ideas. Your competitive analysis will help to inform the design of the project and/or justify a new direction you took in the design. Ultimately, it will allow you to not only offer what your competition does, but offer something better. It may seem easy to offer users a type of unique mobile app vision in a landscape where the market is saturated in every category of apps that has already been thought of. And yet, apps are being developed and put on the App Store to be downloaded by millions of people. A good competitive analysis will provide you with enough information to start thinking innovatively. Through your research, you might start thinking, okay, what if I did this with my design? Or what if I did that? Our textbook, Interactive Design, defines white space as the things that competitors aren't doing and things they don't offer to their customers. Finding the white space allows you to make innovative design choices. You want to be able to walk anyone through your mobile concept and design. In order to do this, you will have to do some field work and research. You want to ask potential customers questions like, how are you currently meeting your needs to accomplish this task? Remember that you will be interviewing folks about your design concept. Be sure to be able to describe this task to your interviewees. What apps are you currently using to accomplish this task? What particular challenges do you specifically have with the design of this app? What do you like? What would you like to see changed? What are your pains? Meaning, what would make it easier for you to accomplish a particular task? How will you meet your customers' needs through design? It's important that your design makes their lives easier. After you've done your field research, you want to compile the data you've gathered and create 1 or 2 scenarios that tell stories and walks users through the mobile design. There's a good example of a scenario described in the Android Design Patterns textbook on page 62 for the Thirsty Pocket app. Take a moment to enhance your app vision by reflecting on information gathered from research, categorizing your app vision, and put together a rough storyboard that brings the context, persona, and vision together. Your initial storyboard will provide you with a reference for your app wireframes. During this step, you will start to narrow your vision, prioritize user needs, and app features you will design for. After doing so, you will begin the work of wireframing the app flow and testing your assumptions by conducting write studies. At the beginning of your mobile design process, you should designate a wall in your house and start your Wall O sticky notes. On that wall, you will begin by putting all ideas that come to your mind regarding your app. These ideas could be around features, functions, users, goals. Eventually, the wall becomes saturated with ideas and no new ideas are being generated. It's hard to start the design process when too many options exist. So, you will need to strategically debate your ideas and start to eliminate some of your sticky notes. Start by grouping post-its that are similar, as illustrated in this photo. Eventually, these group of post-its become a grouping which should be assigned a name. These groupings may become an app goal or persona. From groupings, you want to create a pyramid that will enable you to prioritize your goals. The pyramid helps you to visually see your highest to lowest priorities. Eventually, your design process will focus on the highest priorities in your pyramid. Not a bad way to visualize your way to success. Wireframes are blueprints that start to bring your app vision to life. You can think of your wireframes as a conversation between you, the designer, and the client. Up until this point, the mobile design process has been wrapped up in descriptions and texts. Wireframes include common interface views and controls, and you will start to learn mobile design terminology fairly quickly. Because wireframing is such a large topic in the mobile design process, I have created a lecture dedicated only to wireframing that will be assigned next week. As you already know, it takes a team to build a mobile app. Early in your design process, it's important to get feedback from your team, which includes engineers, management, customers, and clients. It's recommended that you involve at least 9 to 12 participants in your write study, forming groups of 3 people per round. For our class, each of your wireframes will undergo a write study with 3 of your classmates. Once you receive feedback from the study, each of you will update your wireframes, which will become your second draft. An important aspect of doing the write study is where you envision the mobile interaction taking place. In this step, you will bring your sketched wireframes to the next level and transform your vision into design. Your design will include a color palette, branding themes, and graphics that keep the user at the center of the experience. Your app flow should flow seamlessly from screen to screen and clearly illustrate the goals of your app. After completing your initial wireframes, conducting a write study, and updating your wireframes based on feedback you receive, it's going to be time to commit to transform your wireframes into visual design. Pictured here are the visual design wireframes produced by a former student of this course. Looking closely at her wireframes, you can see that she takes us through the user experience, starting with a splash screen to the home screen, and then providing us with the flow of her app design indicated by lines and arrows. By the end of the semester, each of you will take your sketched wireframes and create a visually designed wireframe for your app. Additionally, each of you will create a working prototype using your designs with the InVision app, which I will go over in a lecture a few weeks from now. The mobile design process provides designers a way to think about, organize, and evaluate their design. The most important thing to know in this process are your users' needs and wants. You want to spend time building your vision and vetting with friends, classmates, other potential users in casual conversation, asking them what they think about your ideas. You want to start your sticky note brainstorm to help you organize and prioritize your features as soon as possible. In project number 1, you will begin the redesign process of the LocalEA app using design patterns, the mobile design process, and wireframing. Have a great week, and please feel free to email me should you have any questions about the course. Aloha.